Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we'll be highlighting American celebrities who have passed away today and in the past few days, along with other notable figures from around the world. Before we proceed, we kindly ask you to show your love and support by giving this video a like. It truly means a lot to us. Thank you. And now, let's begin.
I try to describe how you feel when you love so much, when you love your little brother so much.
Catherine O'Hara, the beloved mother of every Christmas and a true comedic genius, has tragically passed away at the age of 71. Her agent and manager sorrowfully confirmed that she died peacefully at her Los Angeles home on January 30th, 2026, following a brief, unexpected illness. Beginning her remarkable journey in 1974 at Toronto's Second City, Catherine first captured our hearts with an Emmy-winning turn on SCTV in 1982. By 1990, she became a global household name as Kate McAllister in Home Alone, creating a role that has become a cherished holiday tradition for generations of American families. Behind the laughter, Catherine's path was defined by graceful resilience. Starting her career as a humble understudy, she navigated Hollywood's changing tides to find her greatest triumph later in life. In 2015, she brilliantly reinvented herself as the eccentric Moira Rose in Schitt's Creek, eventually sweeping every major award in 2020 at the age of 66, a historic feat for a legendary talent. "Mama, I thought we had time," shared a heartbroken Macaulay Culkin, echoing the grief of millions who felt they grew up alongside her. Her final bow in 2026's The Studio served as a poignant farewell to a woman who mastered the art of making us smile through our tears. Leaving behind her husband Bo Welch and a $10 million legacy of joy, Catherine was honored with a thunderous standing ovation at the March 2026 SAG Awards. Rest in peace, Catherine. Our world is a little less bright without your extraordinary light.
My favorite comedian was Stephen Wright.
Victoria MacKenzie-Childs, the whimsical visionary and co-founder of the world-renowned MacKenzie-Childs home decor brand, has sadly passed away at the age of 77. Her close friend, Veronica Lanny, sorrowfully confirmed she died at a Bronx nursing facility on March 4th, 2026. A devout Christian Scientist, Victoria chose to face her final days with unwavering prayer and a spirit that remained energetic and bright until the very end. Launching her artistic empire in 1983, Victoria became the architect of whimsy, creating the legendary courtly check pattern that defined luxury in homes across America. For decades, she and her husband Richard lived a bohemian dream aboard the Yankee Ferry, a historic floating studio that served as a beacon of creative freedom. However, the early 2000s brought the heartbreak of bankruptcy, forcing her to sell her namesake brand in 2001. Refusing to be silenced, she triumphantly reinvented herself through Victoria and Richard Emprise, proving that a true artist's soul and zest for life can never be bought or sold. Though she finally left her beloved ferry in October 2025, her vibrant legacy of color remains. Victoria MacKenzie-Childs was a rare, beautiful light who taught us that even in the face of loss, life should always be extraordinary.
I feel like I exist well between those two words for the most part.
Robert Duvall, the legendary titan of American cinema and the unforgettable consigliere of The Godfather, has sadly passed away at the age of 95. His wife, Luciana, heartfully confirmed the news on Facebook, stating that Bob died peacefully at their home on March 25th, 2026, surrounded by profound love and comfort. To the world, he was an icon, To her, he was simply everything. His remarkable journey began in 1962 as the mysterious Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird. However, it was his brilliant turn in 1972's The Godfather and his chillingly iconic performance in 1979's Apocalypse. Now that cemented his status as a cinematic giant. In 1984, he finally captured the Best Actor Oscar for his quiet, soulful work in Tender Mercies. Bob's path was one of relentless reinvention. After a slow decade in the shadows of supporting roles, and he emerged as a leading man who never stopped evolving. At age 66, in 1997, he wrote, directed, and starred in the masterpiece The Apostle, and remarkably earned his 7th Oscar nomination at age 83 for 2014's The Judge. A true actor's actor. He leaves behind a legacy of absolute truth and unmatchable gravitas. While we mourn the loss of a legend, his unforgettable spirit will live on forever through the characters he brought to life.
I think I said it before, but I don't do television so much.
Celine Dion, the voice of a century, a body turned to stone. Where is she now? There are voices that only need to be heard once to change your life forever. She was the queen of ballads, a global music icon. She sang for presidents, opened the Olympics, and gave our generation its most immortal love songs. But behind the thunderous applause, a terrifying secret was taking hold. The very body that housed the voice of God was slowly turning into a living statue, muscles freezing, ribs breaking from violent spasms. The spotlight has never told the whole story. Let's take a moment to honor a soul we all grew up with and uncover the silent tears behind the greatest voice of our time. Do you remember the first time you heard her? Maybe it was 1993, and The Power of Love was playing on your car radio. Or perhaps it was 1997. You were sitting in a darkened movie theater. The great ship went down, but My Heart Will Go On lifted all of us up. For those of us looking back today, she wasn't just a singer. She was the soundtrack of our youth. But her story didn't start in glamour. She was the youngest of 14 children in a poor, working-class town. Her very first crib was a drawer padded with blankets. Yet, she had a heaven-sent gift. At 12, a man named René Angelil heard her sing and wept. He mortgaged his own home to fund her first album. Together, they built an empire. 5 Grammys, 2 Oscars. She completely transformed Las Vegas, turning it into the absolute pinnacle of live entertainment. She was untouchable, or so we thought. Gravity eventually catches up to everyone. For Celine, the fall didn't strike her career. It struck her heart. In January 2016, in the span of just 48 brutal hours, she lost Renee, her soulmate, and Daniel, her beloved brother, both to cancer. The woman who stood proud before billions now faced an empty house. She had to sit her 3 young boys down and explain that their father was never coming back. But the tragedy did not end at the graveyard. Behind the velvet curtains, her own body was betraying her. For 17 years, she hid the painful symptoms of stiff person syndrome. She smiled for the cameras. She wore the high heels. But backstage, she was collapsing. To keep her promise to her fans, she took up to 90 milligrams of Valium a day, a lethal dose for most, just to force her muscles to relax, just to sing one more note. Finally, her body said no. The world watched in heartbreak as documentary footage revealed her curled on a therapy table, and her face twisted in absolute agony, locked in a violent seizure. The invincible diva was gone. In her place, a mother fighting just to breathe. But a woman forged in poverty and tempered by grief does not shatter easily. Celine refused to be a victim. Supported by her 3 sons, Renee Charles, Nelson, and Eddie, she turned her home into a fortress of healing. She stopped chasing perfection and started fighting for survival. Her physical therapy became her new stage, 5 days a week, pushing through unbearable pain. She declared, "If I can't run, I'll walk. If I can't walk, I'll crawl. But I won't stop." And she didn't. In the summer of 2024, the world wept as she stood on the Eiffel Tower. Her voice wasn't flawless anymore. It was cracked by pain, yet it was more beautiful than ever. It was the sound of pure, unyielding survival. And today, in 2026, Celine lives quietly in Nevada. She knows she cannot cure her illness, so she has learned to live courageously alongside it. As she prepares for a final, highly anticipated series of intimate concerts in Paris this year, she leaves us with a profound truth. Strength is not about how high you can sing. It is about how you stand when the music stops. Celine Dion poured her flesh and blood into every note she ever gave us. She held our hands through our own heartbreaks. Now, it is our turn to hold hers. Which of Celine's songs helped you through a difficult time in your life? Please share your memories in the comments below so her legacy of love can continue to echo forever. Celine, you have always been my greatest role model and a true beacon of strength. I will forever love and support you no matter what.